about money and music, shit, M&E. All these guys wanna claim that they on top. It can't be serious. Wanna go against me and you think that I might stop? It can't be serious. Think that I ain't got money and driving that drop top? It can't be serious. I'ma come through looking like cash and you just not. They can't be serious. All these guys wanna claim that they on top. They can't be serious. Wanna go against me and you think that I might stop? They can't be serious. Think that I ain't got money and driving that drop top? It can't be serious. I'ma come through looking like cash and you just not. They can't be serious.
And to wrap it all up, we're going to be talking about AEW. Why we're talking about AEW? Well, over the past couple months, they've done quite a few major signings. As we all know, they've just signed out of nowhere, Big Show, real name Paul White, and they've just signed Christian.
Is he in AEW as Christian or Christian Cage?
Christian Cage. Christian
Okay.
Cage, yeah. And obviously previously they've signed Rusev, now known as Miro. There's talks about Andrade going there.
Ooh, how do you all feel about that? Oh, sorry, go on.
Well, the reason I want to talk about that is basically we all know that when TNA was alive and well, they used to... It's true. They're not TNA anymore. It's Impact. It's totally different now. It's totally already different regime. So when TNA was alive, let's just call it, under Jeff Jarrett's control, and Dixie Carter, anytime there was someone that was released from WWE or they were former employees, no matter what age they were, 9 times out of 10, they would end up in TNA. So you have Booker T, Christian Cage again, Kurt Angle, Scott Hall, Randy Savage,
Bobby Lashley.
Who?
No, Leslie went there. Leslie went there when it was Impact.
Yeah. I'm talking about before. I'm talking about it was
2009.
Sorry?
He's talking about TNA days.
TNA, like when Jeff Jarrett took over. He wasn't there when Bobby Lashley wasn't there after the Jeff Jarrett era. He was there after the Jeff Jarrett era. I'm talking about during the Jeff Jarrett era.
So your Kurt Angles, your Christians, your Jeff Hardys, your, them sort of people.
Booker T, Kevin Nash, that was then, like, up until, Lashley came after Hogan was there.
Was that like 2009, 2010?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, 2009, yeah.
Yeah. So you talk about after then, or maybe just near the end of the Hogan tenure. But yeah, either way, like, the TNA was like the hub for like a lot of WWE leftovers, so to speak. Let's remember.
Like it wasn't WWE, but it was the next best thing. Like you could still wrestle to a crowd and make your money, not as much as WWE, but it was a less strenuous thing because wasn't TNA just in one place?
Yeah, they never did house shows. When they eventually did house shows, they tanked. They tanked really bad. They kept on hiring out these big arenas and they couldn't fill them. But yeah, they were always at the Universal Studios. That's where it was. So it was way better schedule for the wrestlers. Some of them obviously getting overpaid because of obviously their name. But yeah, it was obviously not making enough money as WWE. But either way, that was the grounds for
the rise and fall of TNA.
Pretty much. So now since AEW has written, even though the talent that they've signed before, the previous WWE talent, they had a lot of stock in them, but now they are slowly starting to sign Big Show. They started to sign Christian. Not saying that they are old timers, but they are grizzled veterans. Let's just be real.
Right.
My question to you guys: is AEW slowly becoming? Are they in jeopardy of becoming the new TNA? As in hiring all these older grizzled veterans, or just hiring these people just because of name value, and then running that risk of just them taking over the spots, because there's already talk of Christian already challenging Kenny Omega for the world title. Oof. He just showed up, so that's why I'm wondering. Like a lot of people that went to TNA just because of their name, they instantly went into the main event. Christian did it.
Right.
Kurt Angle did it.
Van Dam did it.
Nash. Everyone that was a part that was previously WWE went to TNA and they were in the world title picture, whether they won or not. So that's why I'm wondering: do you fear, or do you think AEW is potentially becoming the new TNA?
Do you want to go first, Matt?
Yeah. I'd say yes.
Oh wow, okay.
Considering like their first champion was Chris Jericho.
Oh yeah.
So I was thinking, I had the option. I can get why they did it, but I think to myself, like, there were so many different like options they could have gone with.
Oh, which option? Because when you think of that roster at that time, no one had the same market value as Chris Jericho. I understand that
not even Omega.
Kenny Omega, but not every wrestling fan knows him. Like, he was big. He made his name in New Japan. Only if hardcore fans know about Kenny Omega at that time. Everyone knows Chris Jericho. So from a marketing perspective, I totally understand that, because that would definitely put AEW on the map.
Right.
So that in that respect, that made sense. It wouldn't make sense giving it to Hangman Page or Kenny Omega, no matter how, even though they're big, but not everyone knows him. So yeah, that's my counter on that one.
Because I'm thinking that like all their first champions, the only ones I can't really recollect on is the AEW tag team titles. That was Adam Page and Kenny Omega. That was the first champion, isn't it?
No, it was
SCU. It's SCU, yeah.
Yeah, it was
SCU,
yeah. Scorpio Sky.
Christopher Daniels, yeah.
But I was thinking,
but then even then, they are old Impact stars, aren't they? Well, Christopher Daniels is,
and Kazarian.
Yeah, so.
But I was thinking their world title and the other title, I literally forgot the name of it.
TNT, I want to say.
Yeah. TNT, yeah. Their inaugural champions are both ex-WWE guys.
The inaugural champions, yeah. It was Cody Rhodes and Chris Jericho, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, Cody Rhodes, because it's Cody Rhodes, he had to get a title somewhere. I'm just happy it wasn't for the world title. He could have easily done a WWE thing, and because, look, this is my empire, I'm going to get the world title. He pretty much, so far, he's written himself out of the title picture. He hasn't touched it. Like, he put his stipulation as if he, I think when he feuded with Jericho,
if he loses,
he will never challenge for it. He's stuck. Yeah. So, but he had to get a title at some point. Should he have been the inaugural champion? That's up for the debate. But
I feel like he's kind of building himself as the Triple H, Attitude Era Triple H of AEW. So he's the guy. Yeah, he's the guy in the main event, but he isn't the main event.
Right.
Which is how Triple H was pretty much during the kind of 99, 2000, 2001 era. But yeah, when Triple H wasn't injured, I mean. So like he was the guy that was always in the main event. He just wasn't the main event.
Right. No, I hear you.
Yeah, so that's how kind of Cody Rhodes is. So he'll be in a big match or in a big field. So it's technically one of the main events or the main event, but he's just not the main event in that match. He'll be with someone who's like the main event. If that makes sense.
Okay. No.
How I'm kind of seeing him book himself or be booked, if that's how you phrase it. But in terms of like, to me, AEW just comes off as basically just being like, so like you say, like how TNA was like the hub for WWE stars to go when they wanted to leave WWE, and then AEW just kind of seems like a place where they can go or they choose to go to vent how they felt about WWE. They'll be there for like 10 seconds and then they'll kind of like disappear.
Okay.
And then but by disappear, I don't mean like disappear as in they completely go off the face of TV. I mean disappear as in so they go to AEW, they get all the hype and whatnot, and then it's like
I totally get that with Miro, because he was a big signing, and then nothing really has happened. But then
same with Cameron.
Sorry?
Same with Cameron. So he was a big sign. Cameron, Ariane, whatever, Ariane Andrew. She signed. She signed to AEW. She had like 2 matches, and then she's just kind of.
She's a big signing. She wasn't that special.
Oh, I will see because I do the I'll look at what they say about all the stars, and then I'll focus on the women's wrestling and stuff like that.
Oh, I get that.
The women fans were here for it. Like they were like, "Oh, Cameron's there," but then she had 2 matches, and then she's gone.
Yeah,
Miro had a little bit of buzz, and then he's gone. Big Show had all the buzz, and then I guess Christian Cake. Big Show had all the buzz.
Yeah.
Because he had just randomly turned up, whatever it was, or he just like broke the internet with it being like, "Oh, Big Show's now all elite," and you're like, "Whoa."
Yeah.
And then
that was big just because, like you said, it was just a shock factor. Like you was someone that I think we discussed it previously before that he's just someone that you thought that was going to just live and die at WWE because he's been
right.
That is almost as big as seeing Undertaker in AEW. That's how I saw Big Show. You see what I mean?
And in all honesty, I wouldn't put it past Undertaker.
I wouldn't either, to be honest. Right now, he doesn't.
I wonder what his name would be. Would it be just Mark Calloway or something like that?
I think it'd still be Undertaker. To a degree, I think by now he must at least have some kind of stake in that name.
Oh man, Vince would kill him. Vince will fucking kill him if he tried to become Undertaker in AEW. Fuck you know. You see the Last Ride documentary? Like apparently it was he got heated just because of like his agent booked him for Starcade. Was it Starcade?
Yes, and it was an AEW event or something like that, or AEW.
Yeah. His agents, that wasn't Undertaker's fault. That was his agent. Well, so Undertaker says, and they had a big fallout apparently. So if he try and use that, not only go to AEW but also use the Undertaker's name, he will be marked. No pun intended. No pun intended. Fuck you know.
That'll be a hard one to write out though, because it's like it's a one way. If you want to try to erase Undertaker from history, you're kind of like. You can be mad at Undertaker for like a week, but then for a fact Undertaker WWE rely heavily on Undertaker's legacy. So 100%. It's kind of the same with like Bret Hart and Hulk Hogan. I mean, for how many times they've been in AEW and they're still like cool with WWE. So
I haven't seen Hogan in AEW yet. I know Bret Hart has.
I thought Hogan did something with AEW. I'm sure he did. I feel like that was like a thing.
No, just Bret. I remember Bret Hart showed up to unveil the world title.
Right, but I'm almost certain Hogan's done something. I feel like he has.
I searched it up, and the thing that came up was Tony Khan banned Hulk Hogan from all AEW events.
Right, so I knew he did. I knew he had something to do with AEW. But if he's banned, then okay, cool. So he won't ever be there. That's fine. So good on Tony Khan for that. Good on him.
Definitely, fucking hell. I need to pick your brain about what the madness with Romania. But yeah, we'll go there just before we cut off. But yeah, so you think that you both think that AEW is potentially becoming the new TNA, basically. They are in. There's a possibility of that. And if that's the case, if that's the case, do you think they will do a better job than TNA? Will that be a detriment to them?
I think the reason why TNA failed at doing what they were doing is that they hadn't really so like you see with when you look back at the documentaries, even though all these documentaries are going to be centered around WWE putting themselves over their competition and stuff, and they all say and all that sort of stuff. When you look at it, it's always kind of the thing where like, so when you look at the Monday Night Wars, WCW and Monday Night Raw, they were both very similar in terms of who was watching. So it was like if WWE had like 2 point something viewing, so let's say WWE had 2.2, then WCW would have like 2.1. So it was relatively close.
Yeah.
Whereas AEW, I don't feel like they have a heavily enough established brand to really compete with WWE, but yet I feel like that's all that they try to do, and it's the same with Impact or TNA, sorry, because they didn't have a fully established brand. They were still kind of not entirely sure what they wanted to be. I mean, at one point they were the 6-sided ring, and then I guess when they decided to compete with WWE, they were the 4-sided ring.
That was Hogan. That was because of Hogan. Yeah. Like Hogan hated.
And then it was.
So
yeah, and then it was like there was this whole thing of they didn't really know what they were doing, and then at one point did TNA like they still wanted to compete, but then they were doing like the bingo hall thing. Then there was one point where they were literally hosting all of their shows over here. So TNA for like a month was like filmed out of like Wembley Arena or something like that. So like, you know, they were kind of like spending all this money trying to find where their thing was to compete with WWE, whilst at the time trying to compete with WWE because Impact was on Monday nights when Raw was on, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like, so it was kind of like a thing where they were trying too hard to find the ways to compete without establishing the brand. And so therefore it was so wish-washy and whatnot that it was hard to kind of keep up with them in that. I guess AEW has a stronger brand, but at the same time right now they're not at the point where I think if they were to release or to go for a Monday night show.
Yeah, I think they know that. I think they know that, and they're relatively young. They're only a year out. Like they're only a year
right.
old. It'd be very stupid for them to do that. And if anything, the dumb thing about it, they were busy doing their own thing. It's WWE that went to chase them. AEW chose Wednesday nights.
And WWE then moved
went
NXT.
Out. Yeah, they went out their way to move NXT from their network to the USA network to try and get everyone to watch them. And now, when you look at the ratings, AEW has been winning the demographic, the ideal demographic, and now WWE is now tucking their tail between their legs and going to go quietly into Tuesday nights. So AEW is rubbing WWE. Like WWE, if anything, is chasing them when you think about it.
I think but then also you have to admit, like, to me, it does come off as almost like AEW is seemingly obsessed with WWE because they always feel the need to mention WWE. They keep going for WWE's old stars, which I guess you could say is not really a fair point because at the end of the day, a wrestler is a wrestler. It's not their fault where they were first.
Yeah.
But then it's like, you know, it just seems like all the ex-WWE guys are going to go straight to AEW. It's like literally, so Andrade, my boy Andrade just left WWE or got released from his contract. And now it's almost like it's almost like everyone's waiting for Andrade is all elite or whatever he's going to go by is all elite. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's also the deal. It's also to do with their style. Because with Andrade's style, you saw what he could do in NXT, and
right.
His style is almost similar, not entirely similar, but there are like little hints of it in AEW. So he can really be himself instead of the mainstream watered down version that you see on Monday Night Raw. So AEW is the perfect hub for him, not just because obviously it's the rival to WWE, but the style and how they do things is more his way. And obviously you can finally possibly see the reunion of him and Selena Vega in AEW as well. So I think it all depends on the people that they hire, that if it works, then it's fine. The reason I came up with this question is because when they signed Big Show and Christian, I don't feel like the way their style fits AEW because they've been so programmed in WWE's style of programming and how, you know, they do shots and how they do matches. So when Pac signed up with there, I thought that was the perfect place for him. When Moxley signed AEW, I thought that was the perfect place for him. When Miro signed, his potential, I mean, I thought, it's good. Like he can finally be himself. They haven't fully fleshed that out for him, but I think the AEW is the right place for him.
But if people like Big Show and Christian, are you saying that it seems like their characters are more centered around what WWE does?
Yeah. So that's why I feel like, because with TNA, like you said, they were still trying to find their identity because at the beginning, when you hear TNA, you automatically think of, if anything, the X Division, where it's high flying, the flippy doodads and all that kind of stuff. But then eventually it gets watered down by all these other people that these grizzled veterans like this Nash, your Booker T's, or your Kurt Angles, they were all taking the top spots. So they got lost, and that's why everyone was saying, "Oh, this is just for the WWE rejects." With AEW, they ain't fully giving those spots automatically to these grizzled veterans. Sure, Jericho was the inaugural world champion, but they did that for marketing reasons. During that, ever since then, you've had all the homegrown talents like your Darby Allins, your your Brody Lees, your freaking Scorpio Skies, all this kind of people that they still get the main event slots on shows, and it's not given to constantly Chris Jericho or Cody Rhodes because he owns the whole the organization, or runs it, I should say.
Right.
I think I don't think they're fully becoming the TNA in that respect, and I think they're trying their best to avoid that. I understand that with in one respect, I understand that they're getting Christian and Big Show just for
Namesake value.
Sorry, namesake value,
Namesake.
and also it helps the guys that's coming up, or the Jungle Boys and the Marco Stunts, to feed off these guys because they're veterans, and they can teach them certain things in the game to eventually elevate. As long as they don't automatically put Big Show against Kenny Omega and he becomes freaking champion, then I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Just use them for obviously namesake value. Obviously, it brings more eyes to the product because everyone knows them. But as long as it works into Kenny Omega's favor, where he actually beats them in a great match, and it brings notoriety to Kenny Omega's name or whoever they're facing, kind of thing. Use them in that respect, and not automatically put the title on them like TNA used to do with other WWE stars. You know what I mean?
But also, it hasn't. Go on.
Because I was thinking that, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was thinking, do you think that AEW just signing these people, saying they're all elite and stuff like that, and then some of them literally don't do anything for the months coming?
Yeah, they have done it with a few stars that I've seen.
Yeah, there's been a couple, like Matt Seidel, aka Evan Bourne, haven't done shit with him.
His All Elite thing came out after his pay-per-view appearance.
Yes. Yeah.
He turned out the pay-per-view, and then it was like, oh wow, like here's Matt Seidel, and then Sidal, whatever you call say his name, and then it was like 2 days later, it was like, oh, he's All Elite.
Yeah.
So we've already seen him on TV, but then I didn't see anything from him after that.
Yeah, I mean he's still he's here and there, but nothing.
Is he injured right now?
Sorry?
Is he injured?
No, he's still there. He's tag team. I didn't even realize he even had a twin brother. He's in a tag team with his brother, but they ain't doing anything major. Doesn't
AEW have like a whole cross promotion thing with Impact right now?
Yeah, they have a triple cross promotion with New Japan and Impact Wrestling, which is pretty good, which is pretty cool, I think, in my opinion, because WWE would never do that. Even though I think Kenny Omega asked that question, he would love to do it, but WWE is so far up their own ass. They're literally in their own universe. When they say WWE universe, they literally believe that.
This is what I don't get. I honestly think that it would probably bring a whole set of eyes to WWE to have, because even if you brought AEW stars in and just made them perform how WWE needs to perform, as long as that AEW belt is shown on TV or whatever it is, or it's just like bring awareness to AEW, yes, they can what's that thing? Run with that and completely like
because
whatever they want to do with that, but then it's gonna bring a whole bunch of eyes of people that can't stand WWE back to WWE because they want to see the stars.
Yeah, exactly. Like my mind has been so programmed until now, where like I just know that it will never happen. Since you just put the idea that it could be WWE versus AEW, the fantasy booking, the amount of awesome matches you could do with in
right.
WWE and AEW, it would bring so much eyes. It would just
It could literally even just be just one network special if they wanted to do it, because again, WWE is trying to boost this whole Peacock deal or whatever it is. And so if it literally was just a network special on Peacock or whatever, and it's going to be WWE versus AEW, now you're going to get a whole bunch of people subscribing to whatever they're trying to do over there just to watch this event. Because it's AEW versus WWE. So that's, I guess, that's literally a money grab. I'm not saying you have to do it as in now we are partners. It's just a money grab.
Just imagine Roman Reigns having his title match against, I don't know, say, for the name to say, Daniel Bryan. He wins his match. And all of a sudden, you just see Cody Rhodes come out of nowhere, hit him with the crossroads. And you just I don't know, holding the TNT title and the WWE title. And it's like, Survivor, WWE versus AEW, booked, done. Come on.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've seen, but Kenny Omega may become the next Impact champion because it's going to
Yeah,
be Rich
because
Swann
he has
versus
to
Omega.
face Rich Swann.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. He's gonna do because I think Aries Spears did that. Not Aries Spears. What's that guy? Thinking about the comedian. What's that guy that was also in WWE and he left?
Austin Aries.
Austin Aries. Yeah, he went to almost every promotion and won the world title. He did the same thing recently.
Right.
So yeah, Kenny Omega is gonna do that thing and perfect. I mean, it brings more. No, it brings more eyes to Impact. Impact has obviously hasn't got a champion, but the guy
They have got a champion. Impact has a champion now.
yeah, he has it. But
Rich Swann was the Impact heavyweight champion, and then Moose was the TNA heavyweight champion.
Yeah.
And then at the last pay-per-view, they unified it.
Right, yeah. But I'm just saying that when Kenny Omega faces him and beats him, obviously he's
It would
running.
mean that Omega is champion of both shows.
Yeah. So I mean, it will bring more eyes to both products because no one's seen that really on Western TV in a while. So like,
right, I think TNA comes on like internet only, like Access Television or whatever that is. What is that?
Access TV. Yeah.
Is that internet or is that streaming or so? What is that?
Streaming. Yeah.
Right,
and on Twitch. So yeah, that's
nobody's watching those.
Yeah.
And Impact is still wrestling with no fans. It's like
still wrestling with no fans, and now because that's on Tuesday nights. Now NXT is rumored to go to Tuesday nights. Now that's even more viewers gone. So like,
right.
It's a really bad time for Impact Wrestling. But I think maybe that's why they're trying to do this to obviously keep as much viewership on Impact. But yeah, I mean,
I'm thinking a interesting site would be John Moxley on Impact.
Yeah, but I think there's no he's got his beef with New Japan at the moment, so you can't juggle all three at the same time. I think they choose like if you have a feud, then it has to be on one or the other. So yeah, Moxley's on New Japan, Kenny's on Impact, and then who knows, he might switch.
The good brothers are on AEW.
And AEW, yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, this has been quite insightful. So
they have a chance of becoming the new TNA, but I'm hoping because TNA was too many people. TNA got the WCW treatment, unfortunately. Like they had too many people who thought they knew what they were doing and then just run it into the ground. So if Cody Rhodes or whomever is really the one head of all of that stays solid and keeps at what they're doing, then they're gonna stray away from the in their impending doom, I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, so hopefully, like, you know, if Cody Rhodes decided keeps to the current format and doesn't get oversaturated with old talent / keep comparing themselves to WWE or keep putting themselves in competition with WWE and just really kind of strive to be your own brand and your own this.
I mean
they're already
you keep banging on saying like, oh yeah, we're busy doing our own thing, but obviously it's a business. Of course, now and again you're gonna keep throwing jabs to your competition because you have to, and that's what fans feed off of. Like you want to acknowledge them. Like at least you're the ones that's, you know, your ears are open. Whereas WWE, they're completely in their own world, and sometimes that's not good. Like you gotta acknowledge that there's people out there that's trying to take your viewers and your fans, and you know sometimes if they fuck up, you got to knock on it. Like I would love it if they said something about the big Revolution botch. We all know what I'm talking about. Like
dude, yes.
I would love it.
Then this is the thing. It's like I guess that's is why it comes up. So like I said, it's almost like AEW are obsessed because so like let's just say it's like a Piers Morgan thing. Like the way Meghan Markle does not pay no attention to Piers, but he's constantly talking about her. And then it's like so it is like the WWE is very much aware of AEW, but they don't mention them because they're doing their own thing. But AEW is constantly mentioning the WWE, taking shots at WWE, doing everything towards WWE, and so it just comes off like you guys are obsessed with WWE. Like leave them.
Because I think there was a promo that people questioned Drew McIntyre on because they
I heard about that.
Was referring to that.
Yeah, he was.
What was he referring to?
To the explosion.
Yeah, some shade on it on Raw Talk or some shit. I don't know if I haven't heard the promo, but I've heard that he was trying to throw shade at them. But like that's on Raw Talk. Who the fuck you have to watch the network to watch Raw Talk? Like no one cares. Like whatever.
Yeah, like Raw Talk and Talking Smack, whatever it is. Like the fact that they brought them back and it's like
Raw Talk. Talking Smack is better. Like but then I only watch the highlights on the YouTube channel. But yeah, like no one watches that. I want something literally during the 3 hours of Raw or the 2 hours on SmackDown. Say something, whatever. I would love it. You know, the last person that said something was Sami Zayn.
Yes. You could have asked me about AEW.
That was I marked out because I was just like, yo, you know what I mean? And but yeah.
What's Oka Angle? I hear that TNA is hiring. Oh, it was like, wow.
See, he was a couple years too late doing that. But yeah. It was good though. It was funny though, regardless. But yeah, that's fine. But yeah, fair enough. You put your 2 and 2s and that together. But yeah, more importantly, guys, I want to hear your thoughts in the comments. Please don't be a stranger on this. Let me know what your thoughts. Do you think that AEW is running a thin line of becoming the new TNA, or you think they have it under control and you know they're not just throwing, you know, or just picking up anything that WWE leaves on the ground? Let me know your thoughts on that.
The leftover trash.
Yeah, because I really don't want them to become that. I love AEW, no matter how sometimes they botch or they try to think too high and it doesn't come off. I still think they still for the most part put a better product in terms of match quality than WWE are in these days. At least you're not getting freaking The Fiend or you know this hokey stuff with Braun Strowman against Shane. You don't get them kind of eye-rolling moments in AEW. So that's why I always have high faith with them. So, but yeah,
imagine Baron Corbin showing up in a few years at AEW.
Few years, it'll be tomorrow. Baron Corbin ain't doing shit on WWE right now. I would not be surprised if randomly it was like Baron Corbin or whatever he wants to call himself outside WWE is all elite. And I'll be like, oh. That would be the curveball if that happens before Andrade.
Fair enough. But I think Baron Corbin is very high on Vince's list. Like from what I hear, Vince loves Baron Corbin for whatever reason. But yeah, whatever. I don't really find him that fun anymore. I don't really find he doesn't fit AEW. I don't think so. But yeah, whatever. On that note, guys, that has been this episode of Take It to the Table. As always, thank you very much, Matthew. Thank you very much, Mr. Rhymes, for joining me on this show today. If you want to drop your social media links.
So I am at Mr_RYMZ, and that is all across all social media platforms.
Yeah, that's his Instagram, his Facebook, his OnlyFans, his Snapchat. I'm joking. Fucking.
Oh, do you know what? OnlyFans. Oh my god. I should still just do that. I'm seeing everyone making money off of that thing. I'm just sitting here doing nothing. Like I'm clearly doing something wrong.
What's your OnlyFans? Hey, everyone, also that's a cheap plug. Go and check out my song OnlyFans on Spotify right now. Fuck it. Yeah, it is a doozy. What about you, Mr. Matthew? Would you want to drop your social media links?
Yeah, my Instagram is Matt M. McKay. You can see my name somewhere there.
Matt M. McKay. Yeah, definitely. Make sure you follow him. And more importantly, make sure you follow me at official_TITTT. That is the official Ticket to the Table Instagram page. Make sure you come through, show some love. It is going to be more active since if you guys seen the recent episode or the latest update. I've finally moved into the new household. I will be doing a full house tour video soon.
It's a green screen, really, folks. Oh, what was that?
I'm actually in someone's basement right now, but don't worry. It's gonna be more content. We're gonna be ramping up soon. Trust me. Keep an eye on this channel. All right. Well, other than that, I have been your host, Chaos. He has been Mr. Rhymes. He has been Matthew. And until next time, guys. Peace.
Bye.